just like the good old days. Hey everybody, hey, welcome to 2020's first DIY, hosted by me, Daniela Langford, in Adventures in Consciousness. You may know that we have a lot of DIYs up on YouTube and in our Facebook group under our previous business name of Redesign Your Life Forever, and now Redesign Your Life Forever is now hosting and presenting Adventures in Consciousness. So, DIY, and you're probably wondering, what on earth DIY has to do with Adventures in Consciousness? Well, we do have to live in this physical world, and we do have to interact with it. And so it's interesting to find ways and means to bring ourselves into meditative states, into more calm and relaxed states, and also enjoy using our creativity of our innate natural soul to bring forth a lot of joy for not only ourselves, but for other people. So on that note, I recently remembered, holy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is this Sunday. Mother's Day 2020, 5/10. So that is coming up, and I went, holy yeah, right? I need to get something for my mom, and I don't know about you guys, but no offense to my mom, love her to death. She is hard to shop for, okay? She's just one of those lovely ladies that is in that kind of position where it's like, oh, I like that, I'm just gonna go ahead and get it, and then totally forgets about the idea that we would like to get her things for Mother's Day, birthday, Christmas. So it's an interesting place to be. So if you're in that kind of place and you've got somebody that's hard to shop for, or if you just really love doing DIYs, I have got the perfect, beautiful, sentimental, and inexpensive gift that you can give to your mother or any mother in your life, or even to yourself if you're a mother, for this Mother's Day coming up on Sunday. And this is it right here. I'm going to bring her a little closer. So we are going to make this beautiful potted plant set. I'm going to show you exactly how I made it. It even lights up. Ooh. It's more impressive when it's not blindingly sun outside, which again, problem to have? Question mark? Who knows? But this beautiful potted plant here I made for, depending on how much you go nuts on the plants, under 20 bucks. It could even be under 10. So come and join me as I show you exactly how I made this. I'm going to show you some extra bits and tidbits that I found while at the store that you could use to inspire your creativity into your own beautiful creation. So come on and join me as I show you how to make this beautiful potted plant with a personalized hanging tag to give to your mother for Mother's Day. All right, let's get everything started. I'm going to show you everything that you'll need to put this project together. These are all of the things that I have. I'm also going to share with you some variations that I saw while I was in the store, so you can come up with your super cool own projects that are very personalized. This is why I love being able to do this. So I'm going to show you what I have here. We're going to dip into my magical bag of goodies that I just went to the store and got. I'll show you the plants that I have that I picked out, but again, you can pick out any plants that you want. You can go tropical like I did here. There are lots of other indoor plants that do really great inside. All it takes is a little bit of research on Google and a trip down to your local Lowe's or nursery. So let's see what we've got here. This is potting mix that I got from Walmart, very easy. This is intended to be container specific, indoor and outdoor. You want to make sure that when you're getting soil, that if you're buying it, that you get potting mix instead of soil or garden mix, because there are different levels of the nutrients and the things that they put in them that is more beneficial for potting plants that are in a pot that can't stretch out into the ground and get their own nutrients versus the ones that you use to amend soil with. So potting mix. But also, if you're going super last minute and super budget friendly, you can just go into your backyard and find a patch and dig out some soil yourself. So that's also an option. So I've got my potting mix here. You'll also see that I've got some rocks down here, and you're probably wondering what those are for. That's going to be to fill up my pot. So when you're doing indoor pots in particular, this is pretty much the only time you do it, this time we're going to not put holes in the bottom of the pot. When you don't put holes in the bottom of the pot, a lot of times there's a really serious danger of drowning your plants because the roots get soaked in, you overwater it accidentally, or whoever you're giving it to, I should say, overwaters it accidentally. And putting in rocks like that helps lift the soil and lift the plants up off the bottom of the pot so that the water can rest in the bottom of the pot without actually drowning the roots in it so bad. Also, you'll see that I have some styrofoam here. This is just straight regular old styrofoam. If you've got an old refrigerator styrofoam box or some kind of appliance thing laying around, same kind of stuff right here. You can also get it for fairly cheap at your local Lowe's or Home Depot, and that's going to be in your homing and insulation section, oddly enough, but it's actually craft foam. So that's that. Also for the same purpose as the rocks, just to lift everything up off the bottom of the pot so nothing has that big of a chance of drowning. You could also use them in combination, which I may end up doing. So here are my plants. These are some gorgeous things that I picked out from Lowe's just the other day. So we could see, whoop, there we go, put it in the camera. That's a purple queen. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Maybe not. But as you can see, $3 for this little beauty right here. Again, you can pick out any plants you want. You could go with a little herb garden if it's gonna be in a particularly sunny spot. I'm kind of intending for my mom to use this in her office or in her meditation room, so I went with plants that really enjoy either low light or being right in front of the window on the inside. Hey buddy, you wanna come join the video? There's my buddy. Here's little Nicky. He's gonna come help us plant. He wants to be in the middle of all the things. Say hello to all your adoring fans. Yes. Oh, puppies. So, here is our grand finale that I'm going to be putting in the front, as you'll see. So I did pay a little bit more for this one because it actually came with a terracotta pot, but I loved the plant so much and how it looked that I just couldn't help myself. And I'll recycle and up-purpose this pot for something for myself in the future. So there you go. As you can see, this beauty right here, and that's what that is. And also, here we go. This one was just too gorgeous, and my mom loves reds. So I had to get her something with a little bit of red in it. So here we go. So even though this one says highlight, if they put it in the window, it probably will do just fine. There we go. Whoop. So that's this beauty right here. All right, let's finally dig into our bag of goodies that we got from the dollar store, and I'll show you all the kinds of things that you can find there to put in your plant, with your plant, all the kinds of pots that I saw, all the different variations of really cool items that are not pots that you can use as pots, all this stuff. So let's dig right in. Well, this one was on top. This is a cute little acorn fairy house. Thinking about maybe putting him in there, or if it's too big, I'll just keep it for my own garden. Hey, Bubby, you want to see what's in the bag? These beautiful little ceramic mushrooms. I could not help myself. How adorable are these? Yes, Nikki's loving them too. Also found some sweet little fairy chair and table, little set there. Some beautiful fairies, because Mom and I have a connection with the fairies from when I was young. She bought me this fairy book that I absolutely love, so that will really help with the sentimentality and the meaning of this gift, right? I also got myself some chalkboard tags, which you will, if you get these, of course, need to get some chalk, which I so happen to have this craziness left over from just a fun thing years ago. So I have all of this left over, so I'm just going to use this. But it's also very easy to find chalk almost anywhere. Got some ribbon so I can wrap it around the pot, this little label. And I also got some labels in case I feel like actually sticking this on the round and not having it washable, since my chalk is washable. And that's an extra thing I bought for me. Whoopsies. Got to have something to attach the dog lead to, right? So that's all the stuff. Oh, one more thing. these little beauties. So these are light up, and yes, it does take 2 AA's, but this is if you're going nuts like me. You can totally go nuts. I enjoy going nuts. So you can make it a $10 project very easily without having all of these add-ons, but because I love a little flourish and excess, being a little extra, I'm going to put these in there so that she can turn them on. And because it's an indoor plant, it's not going to be getting a lot of rain, and she can water selectively around them and of course turn them off. But that would make a beautiful little light up touch to your indoor planting. So you'll get to see these in action. And for the coupe de resistance, finally, the pot. So I actually found, and you'll see in the photo, bless you. Bless you. Must have snorted some pollen. You gotta stop snorting the pollen, bud. It's not good for you. Crack's bad, okay? Oh, look at that sweet face. He's like, but Mom. Anyway, so as you'll see, I found this pot, and this is totally to my and her style. It's a nice plastic pot. It was $1, and as you can see, there are no holes poked in the bottom. If you want, you can very easily take an awl, which is that sharp, very thin metal spike, basically. It's used a lot in sewing and leather work and things like that. And you can very easily poke holes in the bottom of this, or you could just use a box cutter or a knife and just work little holes in the bottom if you wanted to put holes in the bottom of this pot. Some of these, and you may actually be able to see this, these are actually pop-out holes. Like if I wanted to pop these out and create holes for it, they're actually already built in a lot of these pots. So I'm not going to do or have to do a lot of painting to this one because it's already something really cool and very much in our taste and style. But there are a lot of pots there, which I'll show you here in just a second, that you could very, very easily take and use the shapes of them and paint your own landscapes, paint your own scenes, or do your own design painting on them, much like this. So let me go ahead and cut to that now and show you all of the really cool variations of stuff that you can get that I found also in just your local Dollar Tree. Okie dokie, so now we're going to get planting. I'm going to show you just how easy this is. So I'm going to open up my bag here. And I just use old Solo cups or whatever plastic cups you may have lying around the house. Don't necessarily need any special dipper. And break some of this up. Get that ready. But first, before I forget, we're going to line the bottom of the pot with some of our rocks and some of our styrofoam. And again, that's to help with drainage because of the lack of holes. So I'm not going to punch the holes out on this because I don't want to have to worry about Mom having a separate saucer and moving that around and whatever. So it helps for drainage, but also, especially with these plastic pots, because this is actually very light, right? We don't want to have to worry about so much it getting pushed over, right? So we want to make it a little bottom heavy. So that's also where putting the rocks in the bottom is certainly going to help. So as you can see here, I just got a bunch of rocks and stones and pebbles from my yard. You don't really need to go out and buy these. You can find them in just about any place in yard. If you want to go out to the forest and find some really pretty interesting rocks to put in the bottom of, just for the energy of it or the sentimentality, totally go your own way. But these are straight from my own yard here, and it's actually just sitting on top of a Frisbee. I went and collected them just a few minutes ago before we started, and I'm just going to dump them in. Just like that. Okay, right? So as you can see in here, we got a variety of sizes, and that's really good because it lets the water get down in there in between, but not so much the soil. So you like to have the big ones and the little ones because it helps with the drainage and keeping the soil on top of it, right? So there you go. But also, because I want these plants to sit like you saw them, where this little beauty is down in front, right there, so we have a little bit of an elevation change within the same pot. That's where you can use your rocks and then also your styrofoam to create a little platform that the other plants will sit on top of. So if you find that these pieces that you've already got or whatever are too big, pop them up, right? Things like that. Just gonna put them right here in the back. So we're gonna name a back of the pot, right? So if yours has got a design on it, you could just look around and see, it's like, I don't like this aspect of how it's painted so much right here, but I really love the definition on it here. So I'm gonna call this the front of the pot, right? So when you put in your elevation change, you're just going to put everything to the back, right? And this may be a little fiddly for you, but this is just the kind of thing that I love to do. To be honest, sometimes I love to get a little fiddly, and if you do too, then you might give it a try. So there we go. Just kind of, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to sort of get it a nice relatively evenness, right? So the other plants will sit up higher and this one will sink down a little lower, and we can still keep our soil level at the same level without having to drown any of the plants in their own soil. So now that we've got that, take this and just gently start to cover. Just cover it up a little bit so that you can keep the styrofoam in place, right? Just like that. And then you'll want to cover up your rocks as well. All right, so give it a little tap down. You don't want to mash it down because you want to leave a little bit of air pockets and places for water to sit in the soil, but just kind of tamp it down so that you can get an idea of, again, where your elevation level changes. If you need to add more in the back, which I do. Just a little bit there. Hey buddy, help me plant. All right, okay, so as you can see here, we've got a nice little elevation going on in there, and then you'll see what I do with it next. All right, so we'll start from the back. And if you've never taken a plant out of one of these things, it's super, super easy. So you just gently want to take your non-dominant hand, usually, and slide your fingers, as you can see me doing here, just sort of slide your fingers up underneath it, just very gently, right? So you're just holding the plant, and turn it upside down and just gently squeeze on that little plastic thing it came in. If you see any roots hanging out like this, some of them might be dead, so you might just give them a little gentle brushing, and if they fall off, that's fine. But you want to pull as much of it through the bottom as you can. We can see this little guy has got a little bit of root damage. So when you see this hyper yellow orange versus this beautiful, nice little creamy white, this is generally a sign of some root rot. All right, so that just kind of pulled right off. So if you want, you can pull that off, right? But then see underneath there, that still looks okay. So we'll just leave him alone. Loosen this up a little bit down here so it will encourage the roots to start spreading out into the pot. All right. And you just want to set him, her, him, them right down in there. All right. And then we're going to do the same for here. Also, if you want to, you can take out your label. That's what I'm going to do. And what I'll do later is I'll trim off this price tag part of it. But if you want to, you can take the label, or maybe I'll just paint it over because it's got instructions on the back. But so the person that you're giving it to knows what kind of plants they are. So you want to set that aside. And we're just going to do the same procedure with this beauty right here. So fingers underneath, just slide them up in there and turn it over. And as you can see, this one's got a lot of roots coming out of the bottom. This one's definitely pot bound and are ready to be moved on to something bigger and better in life. All right, so just give her a little squeeze, sometimes a little tap tap. Sometimes you have to massage these roots a little bit because they get stuck and grow together under the pot. So I'm not tearing at them, I'm just kind of gently loosening them up. from one another so they can pull through the holes in the pot. Right? There we go, right? So this is root bound. This guy is ready to go. This is past ready to go, but he'll be okay for our purposes here. So we're just gonna set him right here next to our beautiful other purple friend. Just wanna gently sort of, not mash him down, but firm him in just a little bit there. And now we're gonna take our gorgeous beauty here. Where's the other tag? Oh, the other tag stayed in there with the plant, so that works out. So this is interesting, pulling these out of the terracotta pots, but it's more or less the same procedure where you turn it upside down and you just might have to shake-a. All right. Put that down. And ploop, pop that right in there, okay? So you could see, I'll bring this down a little bit, there you go. So you could see how I've got a little bit of an elevation with these guys in the back to this beauty here in the front. And this is the time where if you're looking at it, and of course you're looking at this from the top down now in the video, but you can be looking at it level, is you'll be able to see if the height is right, if you want to move plants around, if you want to move them around to show a better side or not. This is the time that you would do that. And when that's all done and you're ready to go, you want to get your soil. Just going to back this up just a little bit. And start by lifting up here and just putting some in. All right, and if your plant moves around as you do this, that's fine. You could just move it back. All right, so you want to lift this up and you want to get it down in there as best you can. And it's okay if you cover up a little bit of the plant right now, because then you can come back behind and you want to just gently sort of massage that into those empty spots, right? Because you don't want a lot of huge air pockets in here, because then that lets too much of the water sit in the soil, or when it finally does condense down, it gets really dense and it isn't properly aerated. So we're going to go in back here. Okay. So when you're putting these in, even if you're doing an elevation change, you want to make sure that even the lowest plant, that you're not burying it really any deeper than it was sitting in the pot that you pulled it out of. Most plants, with the exception of a few things like tomatoes and things like that that are kind of furry stemmed, most plants that are hard woody stemmed do not like being buried up to their neck. They really, really don't, and that's something that will absolutely kill them, especially in an indoor plant. So, come on, buddy. You helping Mama? There's a good Nikki. Yeah, you're gonna be a star. Yes, you are. You're gonna be a star because you're just so cute. So now we're just going to fill in the back. Get some soil here. Shift this baby around. And hey, don't eat the dirt, you silly. All right, so lift the leaves out as best you can. All right, and keep with that level change. And you want to just gently push these plants in with the soil. Just gently. All right, so we're keeping the elevation change, and we're not over covering any of our plants, right? So you can still see where that was up to the nub, this one too. Let's gently push that in. A little bit more here. All right. Make sure this is all nice and firmed in this one here. Pull any extra leaves out. May have gotten buried. All right, and there you go. So it's still well underneath the lip of the pot, so that way when your person or your mother, whoever you're making this for, this is for Mother's Day, but for if you're ever doing this for anyone else or yourself, you want to make sure you leave a lip of room between the soil and the edge of the pot, so that way when you go to water, it obviously won't go all over the place. So there you go. You can see there's still a bit of that grade in there, but everything is at the level that it's supposed to be planted at. Okay. And then again, if you need to zhuzh some of these up, you can just gently coax them around. All right. So here are our labels. You can just gently stick these along the sides so they're not intrusive, but then that way the person knows what they are. Okay. And now it's time to do the finishing touches. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to throw together one of these chalkboard tags. And we're going to dress this little cutie up with some of our fairy items that we got over here and our lights, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, now we've got our pot here. It's all ready to go, planted in. Whoop. You should see this bone. I wonder. He is carrying this around. Nick! Look at that. Yeah. Right? Excuse the state of our back porch. But yes, I had to just share with you what that thundering boom was, if you hear that anymore. He's got that, he's carrying around. So, we have got our pot here, and all of our plants are planted and almost ready to go. One more last thing that you'll want to make sure to do before you give is to water everything in, so that way that helps the soil level out on the inside down in here, and it also gives the plants a vital infusion of water and nutrients from the soil, so they can start growing into their new home. So you want to make sure you always water in fairly good. And we will do that at the end. But I just want to show you how you could decorate. So I've got my raffia ribbon here, and I've chosen this nice lovely gray to go with the gray accent on the pot. For what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these, our little chalkboard pieces. I'm going to take this off, but I'm going to do the same way that it's wrapped around here so it stays nice and flat. With the raffia ribbon. So here I've got this one, and I've just written a little cute little thank you for helping me grow, right? Because it's themical and it's super sentimental, right? Love it. So we're going to take our ribbon, or you could use jute or whatever you like, and you're going to measure out your length and make sure it goes around your pot, which it does, more than enough. And break out your scissors, or in this case, while I'm standing out here, I have my little pocket knife. Be very careful with the pocket knife. Please don't cut yourself. And always make sure to close that bad boy up when you're done. So here we've got that, and we've got our nice little sign here. All right, so we're just gonna loosen that up and pull that right out. And we're gonna do the same thing with our raffia. So put this down. Find your two ends. Okay. All the way down to the middle. Okay. Get your little hole, stick it through. Okay. Just like that. You want to open up the center here and pull the ties through. As you can see, there's the loop that we brought through right here, and then we're just bringing the ties right through that loop. snug it up. Or you could leave it like that if it's being difficult, like mine is. There we go. And of course, you don't have to have written the message like I have, and you could end up touching it much more. So of course, I'm having to be super delicate to not move this around, right? But there you go. There's a nice little loop on there. And then all you have to do is bring it around your pot. Bring it up nice and high. Aha, it's going to be difficult. Okay. If it's being difficult like this, you can get a piece of tape and tape it up, which I may end up having to do. That's quite all right. So you want to do, you could do a bow so they could take it off and just have the plant, or you can double knot. Lots of cute ways to finish off bows here in the back. I'm gonna go grab a piece of tape so you can see this in real time. Okay, so I went and got my piece of clear plastic tape. Just did a little nice thing here, help the bow stand up. All right, you can play with it all kinds of ways. I'm just gonna flip her around, all right, and bring it up. Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll take this bigger piece that I have here and I'll just split it in half. All right, so we bring it up, make it nice and flat, hold it in place. All right. And stick it where you want it. You just blend that tape in. All right. And do the other side. See, almost practically blends right in. No one will notice. And you have a cute little tag right on there in the front. Super cute, right guys? Oh my God, I love it already. All right, so now we're gonna do some of the finishing touches with our little fairy garden add-ons. I can't wait. I've been seeing these in there for forever and I haven't taken advantage. So I thought, what a opportunity to take advantage in a present. How cute is that? Oh, I love it. So I get a little chairs here. I'm gonna nestle in under there. They're an adorable little table. The things that bring us joy, right? So put them right in there. Look how cute that is. I love it. And then we're gonna get our little fairy friends out here. So we got one holding a holding a book, holding a rose, and holding some beautiful, what look like maybe irises, lilies, some sweet little babies. We're just gonna drop them. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'll put this one back up in here. She's reading her book under the shade of these beautiful trees. All right, and over here. All right. And we'll put this one. We'll put them together. How about that? And there are about 1 billion different little accents and things. Look how sweet that looks. Look at her. Look at her sneaking in there, reading her book. Totally me as a kid, right? Look at that. And there are lots of different add-ons and things and jewels and gems and all kinds of decorative stuff that you can get to go with your pot, and themes and all kinds of stuff like that. Anywhere and everywhere. I mean, of course, you can go to Michael's, but even in the dollar store, this is what I found. And here it is, our beautiful Mother's Day gift. Simple, inexpensive, and beautifully sentimental. All right, I'm gonna go water these babies in and put the lights in them. You wanna make sure you put the lights in after you water. And we'll show you the finished product as it lights up in the night, and we'll close this video out. Okay, here we are, all done. You can see in there, I've watered it in, added our lights, have our little fairies, and let's light it up. How cute. How beautiful. So there you go. Finished project. Quick, easy, sentimental, heartfelt, and most definitely inexpensive. A beautiful gift for Mother's Day. Throw one together, and I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Share them with me in the comments. I love to see you guys' creativity. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, subscribe.